New Balance SC Trainer V2 is not just a new version of the SC Trainer. It's a very different shoe. I really like the first version. How does it work? Is it any good compared to the first version? Let's find out. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we have the review of the New Balance SuperComp Trainer V2, the new version of the previously released last year SuperComp Trainer V1 or just SuperComp Trainer. It's a completely different shoe. Let's go into the review and the specs, but first let's thank New Balance for sending us this shoe. You can find it at our different retail partners. Links are in the description. You don't pay anything extra when you use them. We get a little kickback. It helps the channel to grow. So thank you for using those links. This shoe loses some stack height. This is not the trend for many shoes. The stack height is going up. This one loses some stack height, going from 47 millimeters on the original SuperComp Trainer down to 40 millimeters on this one, 7 less millimeters of stack height here. And the drop also changes. It comes to a 6 millimeters drop to 34 millimeters in the forefoot for this shoe. It loses also a ton of weight. This shoe in my size weighs 298 grams, whereas the SuperComp Trainer, the original one, was 341. So 43 grams of difference between these two shoes. That's 1.5 ounces US, or just ounces of difference between these two shoes in terms of weight. Huge difference. This one is much lighter. You can feel it on your feet. It's much more pleasant to run in just because of that weight saving. Very much appreciated. Good job, New Balance. I really like going in that direction. 40 millimeters of stack height is really enough, and losing some weight is something that we all appreciate, so good job here. Looking at the upper, we have something that is a bit lighter, actually quite lighter compared to the original SuperComp Trainer. This is a semi-gusseted tongue. The tongue isn't too padded. It doesn't need much more padding. The laces are very friendly, quite thick, and they don't create any lacing pressure. The pressure is basically distributed across the width of the laces. They're the right length. If you were to do a runner's knot, they may be a bit too short, but I call them the right length. The heel is nicely padded. And overall, the upper, I must admit, is one of the nicest uppers I've seen in New Balance shoes in the past years. The shoe runs a bit short. It's a true to size fit, but it runs a little bit short. That's maybe the only complaint that some people may have. It's not one for me, but it's good for you to know that it's a shoe that runs a little bit short. The insole is removable. It's a very thin, flimsy insole. It could be improved by giving a bit more arch support here, but that's just a small comment here. Overall, the upper, I'm very satisfied with it. As you can see, the forefoot isn't super structured, and it has some nice plasticky overlays here on the lateral side of the shoe. I'm very happy with the upper. It's a good upgrade. It's a very solid upgrade, especially for a hotter month here in Europe. It's gonna have your feet more happy in the shoe. It breathes it a bit more. So yeah, good stuff here in New Balance. Looking at the midsole, we're losing 7 millimeters of stack height in the heel, 6 millimeters drop, 34 in the forefoot. That's not the trend for many shoes. Many shoes are going higher and higher in terms of stack height. This one is going in the opposite direction. And this may surprise you, but I think it's a good thing. The original New Balance SuperComp Trainer was maybe a bit too high, and that was also creating some extra weight. It was carrying more weight because of that extra stack height. This is good. This is, 40 millimeters is plenty of foam underfoot, and I think this is going in the right direction as well. What is not necessarily going in the right direction on this shoe, and that's mainly my only regret compared to the original SuperComp Trainer, is the different flavor of fuel cell. As you know, New Balance is using fuel cell as a name for their fuel cell range of shoes, but also for their midsole compound, despite it being different iteration after iteration and shoe after shoe. This one is still nitrogen-infused TPU. Fuel cell is a good foam, don't get me wrong. It's just here another version compared to the original SuperComp Trainer, and I think the original flavor of fuel cell was working better for that shoe geometry and that stack height. This one is softer, which many people will like. I just think it's a bit too plush and a bit too mushy for me, especially for what this shoe is designed for, meaning up-tempo paces and endurance rides, endurance runs. This is just a bit too soft, and I don't have the energy return that I may expect coming from a shoe like this one and a foam like Fuel Cell. I still really like the ride of the shoe. It's still a very leg-saving ride, it's still a very fun ride, a very enjoyable ride. I think that midsole geometry that you have with that trampoline effect, the energy arc geometry in the plate, do some good job altogether. You can really feel it's a different ride, and I really like what New Balance did with this geometry on the original SuperComp Trainer. I just kind of regret the slightly firmer foam, which was already quite soft on the original SuperComp Trainer. It was allowing this shoe to be a bit more versatile and to serve more purposes than, let's say, just easy runs. At least for me in this shoe, this is not just an easy shoe. You can do more stuff with it. You can do endurance runs, you can pick up the pace. It's just requiring you and your lower legs to work a bit harder, and that's the effect I feel with softer foams when they're becoming too soft and when they're not compensated by a thicker outsole or a more rigid plate. You tend to work a bit more, you tend to have your feet, your lower legs working a bit harder, and that's how I feel with this shoe. It's a fantastic companion for easier runs, recovery sessions, 1 hour chill runs. Beyond that, for faster paces, it just doesn't work for me, at least compared to the original SuperComp Trainer. And that's again because of the softness of the foam being a bit too high, a bit too much for my liking and for how I like my tempo shoes to be and to react. As you can see, it still has a lot of flex in the forefoot. That carbon plate definitely could be a bit more rigid, and that would also help stabilize and rigidifying the whole midsole, but New Balance went with that. I think it's not a bad decision. Many people will prefer this shoe compared to the original version. I just think that some things were done really, really well. The upper, the reduction in stack heights, but the softness of the foam is not necessarily going in the right direction I would have liked to. Price point and value for money, $180 to 20 euros. That hurts. New Balance, always that EU-US conversion. You know about it, they know about it. So at least maybe that will change down the road. For $180, if you use this shoe as your endurance, tempo, maybe even race day shoe for marathon races, it's good value for money. If you use it only for one category of training, one section of your training regimen, it's not gonna be the best value for money ever. The durability was good on the original SuperComp Trainer. The outsole was doing a good job. I would expect this shoe to go, in that 400 miles, 600 kilometers type of range in terms of durability. Not the best out there, but certainly not in the worst. I'm a bit torn between, the fun this shoe brings, the innovation and the good upgrades on this shoe, and the price point that is too high for my liking, especially compared to other offerings in that super trainer or very versatile trainer category. This is it, guys. Let's link, of course, to the review of the original New Balance SuperComp, and let's keep this shoe very close to us because we certainly will do a comparison between many recently released super trainers or high-end trainers, this one, the Boston 12, the Mac X, and more that are coming out soon. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, and go beyond your limits. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.